Here's something most people wouldn't expect. When a teenager keeps coming back to train with you, the reigning Olympic 100-meter champion, you might assume that kid is there just to learn. But Noah Lyles found out Gout Gout came for something much bigger than that. Let me back up and explain what's going on here. Noah Lyles is one of the fastest men on the planet. He won the 100-meter gold medal at the Paris 2024 Olympics. He's an 8-time world champion. When this guy talks about sprinting, the whole sport listens. And Gout Gout? He's an 18-year-old runner from Australia. If you follow track and field even a little, you've probably heard his name lately. This teenager is making the entire sporting world stop and pay attention. So here's what happened. On Saturday, the 16th of May, Noah Lyles sat down for a press conference in Tokyo. This was right before the Golden Grand Prix 2026, a big track meet in Japan. And during that press conference, Lyles revealed something a lot of fans didn't know. He's been mentoring Gout Gout. He's taken this young Australian sprinter under his wing. But it's what Lyles said about the teenager that really stood out. "Gout, he's a really good kid," Lyles told reporters. "He came over to train with us last year for about 2 weeks and then did the same thing this year." So Gout didn't just visit once. He came to train with Lyles and his group in the United States 2 years in a row, 2 weeks each time. And that second visit happened earlier this month. Now here's the part that caught Lyles off guard. He expected to teach a young athlete some tips. What he didn't expect was how hungry this kid would be to soak up every single thing. "I'm just teaching as much as I can in 2 weeks," Lyles said. "He absorbs a lot of information, and he wants to be the best. He's eager, and that's really good to see, and it's really fun to see that youthful spirit again." Think about that for a second. The Olympic champion is saying that being around Gout reminded him of his own younger self. That youthful spirit, that fire. Gout isn't just learning the moves. He's taking in every word, every detail, and he wants to be the best in the world. That's the part that surprised Lyles. And Lyles seemed genuinely happy about it. He added, "It's really nice to know that the people coming up are really excited to want to obtain high goals and achievements." In other words, Lyles is glad the next generation isn't just showing up. They're showing up wanting greatness. Now, why would a teenager from Australia be good enough to train with the Olympic 100-meter champion? Let me tell you what Gout Gout has done, because this is where it gets wild. Last month, Gout ran the 200 meters at the Australian Championships, and he didn't just win. He ran it in 19.67 seconds. That broke the 20-second barrier, which is a huge deal in sprinting. He became the first Australian runner ever to do that over 200 meters. But here's the jaw-dropping part. That time, 19.67 seconds, was faster than Usain Bolt ran at the same age. Yes, that Usain Bolt, the fastest man in history. Gout, at 18, was quicker than Bolt was when Bolt was 18. Gout also holds the world under 20 record for the 200 meters. So when Lyles calls him a really good kid, he's being modest. This teenager might be the future of sprinting. And that brings us to the big event everyone is waiting for. On the 16th of June, Noah Lyles and Gout Gout are going to race each other for the very first time. It's happening at the Ostrava Golden Spike, a major track meet in Czechia, also called the Czech Republic. The two have trained together as mentor and student. Now they're going to line up as competitors. But the race itself is unusual. They're not running the 100 meters or the 200 meters. They're running 150 meters. That's a distance you don't see in the Olympics. It's kind of an in-between event, longer than a 100 but shorter than a 200. And there's an extra twist. This 150-meter race will be run on a regular 400-meter track. That sounds normal, but for Lyles, it's actually new territory. "I've never run a 150 on, I guess, a regular track," Lyles explained. "Every 150 I've run it has been on the straightaway, so I'm pretty eager." A straightaway is just a straight section of track with no curve. Every 150-meter race Lyles has done before was on a straight line. This time, the race will include a bend in the track. So even the Olympic champion is stepping into something he hasn't tried before. But don't think for a second that Lyles is worried. He sounded confident. "I run really good 150s in practice," he said. "So again, I think it's going to be really fast." Here's another interesting detail. Gout has actually raced at Ostrava before. He won the 200 meters there last year, so Gout knows that track. Lyles, on the other hand, will be making his very first appearance at the Ostrava event. So the teenager has the home field feeling, in a way, while the 8-time world champion is the newcomer. That makes this race even more fun to think about. The student knows the stadium. The teacher is the visitor. But before any of that happens in Czechia, Lyles has business to take care of in Japan. Lyles is the headline athlete at the 2026 Golden Grand Prix in Tokyo, and this place means a lot to him. It's the same stadium where he won his very first Olympic medal 5 years ago. Back at the Tokyo 2020 Olympics, which were actually held in 2021, Lyles won bronze in the 200 meters. This Tokyo track also holds a more recent memory for him. At last year's World Championships, Lyles ran the 100 meters there and took bronze, finishing behind 2 Jamaican runners, Oblique Seville and Kishane Thompson. But in the 200 meters at those same championships, Lyles struck gold. That win gave him 4 world titles in the 200 meters, which tied a record held by Usain Bolt. So Tokyo is a special place for Noah Lyles. And on Sunday, the 17th of May, he ran his first 100-meter race of the 2026 season there. This meet is part of the World Athletics Continental Tour Gold Series. Lyles didn't get an automatic spot in the final either. He had to run more than once that day. And honestly, he liked it that way. I'm still planning on running a lot of races, but for tomorrow, season opener, I've been having some really good practices, Lyles said before the meet. Then he explained why the extra running didn't bother him at all. We're going to have 2 rounds tomorrow, so I'm really excited about that, because the more rounds, the faster I get. That's a great little insight into how Lyles thinks. Most athletes might dread running twice in one day. Lyles sees it as a chance to warm up and get quicker. And he set a clear goal for himself. So I'd say by the time I leave tomorrow, I'm going to have my fastest season opener, he said. He also wanted to put on a good show for the fans in the stadium. So the plan is busy. Tokyo on the 17th of May for his first 100 of the year. Then, the Ostrava showdown with Gout on the 16th of June. And in between and after, Lyles is also set to run the 100 meters at 2 Diamond League meets, one in Rome on the 4th of June and another in Paris on the 28th of June. That's a packed stretch of racing for the Olympic champion. But the story everyone keeps coming back to is the bond between Lyles and Gout Gout. An 18-year-old kept showing up to learn from the best, and instead of finding a nervous beginner, Lyles found someone just as hungry for greatness as he is.